Notice how people respond. You'll find that silence, when paired with presence, is louder than any speech. Presence is built in private. It's the result of discipline when no one is watching. Your habits, your mindset, your self-respect. When you consistently live with integrity, your presence becomes undeniable. People can feel it because it's real. So remember, the third silent strength is not about speaking less. It's about living so powerfully that your presence speaks more than your words ever could. Fourth silent strength, emotional stability. Anger, fear, jealousy. These emotions are storms. They rise suddenly, they roar loudly, and they can sweep away reason if left unchecked. But the Stoic man is the mountain that doesn't move. He feels the winds, he hears the thunder, but he remains grounded. His strength lies not in denying emotions, but in refusing to be ruled by them. The Stoic man understands that emotions are natural. He doesn't pretend they don't exist. He feels anger, but he doesn't lash out. He feels fear, but he doesn't freeze. He feels jealousy, but he doesn't let it poison his relationships. Instead, he acknowledges these emotions, studies them, and then chooses his response. That choice is what separates strength from weakness. Think about the last time you lost control. Maybe you shouted in anger, acted out of fear, or let jealousy dictate your words. Did it help you, or did it weaken you? Did it solve the problem, or did it create more chaos? The truth is, when emotions control us, we surrender our power. But when we master emotions, we reclaim it. Emotional stability is not about suppressing feelings. It's about mastering them. Suppression is dangerous. It builds pressure until it explodes. Mastery, on the other hand, is calm awareness. It's saying, I feel this emotion, but I will not let it decide my actions. That is true strength. Reflection for you. The next time you feel anger rising, pause. Ask yourself, what outcome do I want? Will this emotion help me get there, or will it sabotage me? The Stoic man always chooses the path that aligns with wisdom, not impulse. Emotional stability builds trust. People rely on the man who doesn't crumble under pressure, who doesn't explode in anger, who doesn't panic in fear. In leadership, in family, in friendship, emotional stability is the foundation of reliability. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The Stoic man lives by this truth. So remember, the fourth silent strength is not about being emotionless. It's about being unshakable. Because the man who masters his emotions becomes the calm in every storm, the anchor in every chaos, and the strength others lean on when the world feels unstable. Fifth silent strength, patience as power. Patience is not passive, it's strategic. It is the art of waiting with purpose, of holding back until the right moment reveals itself. The Stoic man knows that rushing often leads to regret, but patience creates clarity. He understands that time is not his enemy, it is his ally. The Stoic man waits for the right moment, whether in business, relationships, or conflict. He knows that opportunities ripen like fruit, and picking them too early only leaves you with bitterness. In business, patience allows him to study the market before making a move. In relationships, patience gives him the wisdom to listen before responding. In conflict, patience prevents him from escalating situations that could have been resolved with calm. Consider this. How many mistakes in your life came from rushing? How many times did you act too quickly, speak too soon, or decide without thinking, only to wish you had waited? Impatience is often the root of regret, but patience, practiced consistently, is the root of wisdom. Patience is also a form of strength because it requires discipline. It's easy to react instantly. It's easy to chase quick gratification, but it takes true power to delay, to hold back, to wait until the right time. The Stoic man knows that the strongest decisions are often the ones made slowly, after reflection, after silence. Challenge for you: practice patience today. Delay one reaction, one decision, one impulse. When you feel the urge to respond, immediately pause. Count to 10. Breathe. Ask yourself, will waiting make me stronger? Will patience give me clarity? You'll be surprised how much power you feel when you choose patience over impulse. Patience is not about doing nothing. It's about doing the right thing at the right time. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Time is a river, a violent current of events, glimpsed once and carried past." The Stoic man knows he cannot control the river, but he can control how he moves within it. By practicing patience, he positions himself to act when the current is most favorable. So remember, the fifth silent strength is not about waiting endlessly. It's about waiting wisely. Because the man who masters patience doesn't just endure time, he uses it as a weapon. Sixth silent strength: resilience in solitude. Silence teaches resilience. It is in solitude that the Stoic man discovers his true strength. He is comfortable being alone, facing himself, and growing stronger in the quiet moments when no one else is watching. While the world constantly seeks distraction, phones, music, endless scrolling, the Stoic man embraces silence as his training ground. Resilience in solitude means learning to stand firm without external validation. It means being able to sit with your own thoughts, your own fears, your own doubts, and not run from them. The Stoic man knows that solitude is not loneliness, it is self-mastery. It is the place where he confronts his weaknesses, sharpens his mind, and builds the kind of strength that cannot be shaken by outside noise. Ask yourself, can you sit in silence without reaching for your phone, without needing distraction? Can you spend time alone without feeling restless or empty? If the answer is no, then perhaps you've been relying too much on external noise to fill the gaps inside. The Stoic man doesn't fear silence. He uses it to grow. Resilience in solitude also prepares you for life's hardest battles. Because when challenges come, when storms hit, when people leave, the man who is trained in silence is ready. He doesn't crumble when he stands alone. He thrives. He knows that strength built in solitude becomes unshakable in the crowd. Exercise for you. Spend 10 minutes today in silence. No music, no scrolling, no talking. Just you and your thoughts. Notice what comes up. Notice the discomfort, the restlessness, the urge to escape. And then resist it. Sit with it. That's where strength is built. That's where resilience is forged. Solitude is not isolation, it's preparation. Marcus Aurelius often wrote his meditations alone, in silence, confronting himself with honesty. Epictetus taught that freedom comes from mastering your own mind, not from external circumstances. The Stoic man follows this path. He knows that if he can conquer himself in solitude, no external force can conquer him. Real masculinity isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about being the calmest presence, the most disciplined mind, the most unshakable spirit. In a world that rewards noise, the Stoic man chooses silence. He doesn't need to prove himself with words. His actions, his presence, his discipline speak louder than any shout ever could. Today, I'm revealing the 7 silent strengths of Stoic men. Truths that separate the truly strong from the merely noisy, the grounded from the restless, the disciplined from the reckless. These are the strengths that build leaders, protect families, and shape legacies. And before we dive in, make sure you subscribe right now, because this channel is about building a community of men and women who value wisdom, discipline, and strength over empty noise. Hit that button, join the tribe, and let's begin this journey into the silent power that defines real masculinity. First silent strength: observation before action. A Stoic man doesn't rush to speak. he rushes to see. He understands that words are easy, but true wisdom comes from watching, listening, and absorbing before acting. In silence, he gathers information others miss. He notices the hesitation in someone's tone, the contradiction between their words and their body language, the opportunity hidden in the pauses of a conversation. Observation is not passive. It is active strength. It's the ability to read the room, to sense the energy, to understand what is really happening beneath the surface. While others are busy trying to dominate with noise, the Stoic man is quietly collecting truths. And when he finally does speak or act, his words carry weight because they are rooted in understanding, not impulse. Think about this. How many times have you spoken too soon, only to regret it later? Maybe you interrupted someone before hearing their full thought. Maybe you reacted emotionally before knowing the full story. The Stoic man avoids that trap because he knows silence is not empty. It's full of information. Observation also builds influence. People trust the one who listens. They respect the one who doesn't rush to judgment. In business, in relationships, in leadership, the man who observes first often makes the wisest decisions. Challenge for you. Next time you're in a conversation, pause. Don't just wait for your turn to speak. Actually listen. Watch the person's eyes, their posture, their tone. Ask yourself, what are they really saying? What are they not saying? You'll be surprised how much power lies in silence. Observation is preparation. Every great warrior, philosopher, and leader knew that rushing into battle without studying the field was suicide. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If your thoughts are rushed, your actions will be reckless. But if your thoughts are informed by careful observation, your actions will be precise, powerful, and effective. So remember, the first silent strength is not about doing nothing. It's about doing the most important thing first. Seeing, understanding, preparing. Because the man who sees clearly will always act wisely. Second silent strength, self-control in silence. Silence is not weakness, it's restraint. It is the discipline of holding back when every impulse inside you screams to react. The Stoic man understands that not every battle is worth fighting, and not every word deserves to be spoken. His silence is not emptiness, it is strategy. The Stoic man doesn't react to every insult, every provocation, every emotional wave. He knows that when someone tries to provoke you, they are really trying to control you. If you explode in anger, they win. If you lash out without thought, you lose twice, once to them and once to yourself. But when you choose silence, when you choose restraint, you remain the master of your own mind. That choice is his strength. Imagine someone cuts you off in traffic. Do you explode or do you breathe? The Stoic man breathes. He knows that anger only punishes the one who carries it. The other driver moves on, but you're left with the poison of your own reaction. Self-control is the antidote. Think on this. If you can't control your tongue, can you really claim to control your life? Words spoken in anger can destroy relationships, careers, and reputations in seconds. But silence, chosen wisely, protects you. It gives you time to think, to respond with clarity instead of chaos. Self-control in silence is also a form of power. People respect the man who doesn't react to every storm. They see him as unshakable, as someone who cannot be manipulated. In business, in leadership, in family life, this restraint builds trust. It shows maturity. It shows strength. Challenge for you. The next time you feel provoked, whether by a rude comment, a frustrating situation, or even your own emotions, pause. Don't speak. Don't act. Just breathe. Count to 5. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Is this worth my peace? More often than not, the answer will be no. Silence is not about avoiding conflict. It's about choosing the right conflict. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The Stoic man lives by this truth. He knows that the world will always throw chaos his way, but his response is his domain. His silence is his fortress. So remember, the second silent strength is not about being passive. It's about being powerful enough to choose restraint. Because the man who controls himself cannot be controlled by anyone else. Third silent strength, presence over words. Words can be cheap. Presence is priceless. Anyone can talk, but not everyone can command respect without saying a word. A Stoic man's calm energy fills the room before he even speaks. His posture, his composure, his silence, they all communicate more than 1,000 words ever could. People sense it. They respect it. They lean in, not because of what he says, but because of who he is. Presence is about alignment. It's when your actions, your discipline, and your character are so consistent that people feel your strength without needing explanation. The Stoic man doesn't need to announce his worth. His presence announces it for him. Ask yourself, when you walk into a room, do people feel your presence, or do they only hear your noise? Do they see a man grounded in discipline, or do they see someone desperate for attention? Presence is not about being intimidating. It's about being centered. It's about carrying yourself with quiet confidence that says, I don't need to prove myself. I already know who I am. Think about leaders you admire. The ones who didn't need to shout, didn't need to dominate conversations, but whose very presence shifted the atmosphere. That's the power of presence over words. It's not about volume, it's about gravity. Exercise for you. Next time you enter a space, say less. Don't rush to fill the silence. Instead, let your posture, your calmness, your silence speak for you. Stand tall, breathe deeply, move with intention. So remember, the sixth silent strength is not about avoiding people. It's about building yourself so powerfully in silence that when you return to the world, you are unshakable. Because the man who is strong alone will always be strong among others. Seventh silent strength, unshakable integrity. His words are rare, but when spoken, they are truth. The Stoic man understands that integrity is not built through endless speeches or promises. It is built through consistent action. Integrity is silent strength. It doesn't need to announce itself because it is proven in the way a man lives, in the choices he makes when no one is watching, and in the commitments he keeps even when they are inconvenient. Integrity builds trust without noise. People don't trust the man who talks endlessly about his values. They trust the man who quietly lives them. They trust the man whose silence is filled with honesty, whose presence radiates reliability, whose word, though rare, is unshakable. Think about this. When people hear your name, do they think of honesty or excuses? Do they see someone who stands firm in truth, or someone who bends whenever pressure comes? Your reputation is not built by what you say. It is built by what you consistently do. And when your actions align with your words, your integrity becomes undeniable. Integrity also means restraint. A Stoic man doesn't waste words making promises he cannot keep. He doesn't exaggerate to impress or lie to escape accountability. He knows that silence is better than dishonesty, and that truth, even when difficult, is always stronger than deception. Reflection for you. A man's silence is his honor. Speak less, but when you do, let it be unshakable. Let your words be so rare and so true that people lean in when you speak because they know your voice carries weight. Integrity is the foundation of all the other silent strengths. Observation, self-control, presence, emotional stability, patience, resilience. All of them are meaningless without integrity. Without truth, silence becomes emptiness. But with integrity, silence becomes power. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." The Stoic man lives by this principle. His silence protects his honor, and his words, when spoken, are unshakable. So remember, the seventh silent strength is not about speaking rarely. It's about speaking truthfully. Because the man whose integrity is unshakable doesn't just command respect. He earns it silently, every single day. Noise fades, trends fade, but silent strength endures. The Stoic man doesn't need applause. His silence is his proof. His strength isn't measured by how loud he speaks, but by how steady he stands. If you want to live with that kind of strength, start practicing these 7 silent powers today. Let them shape your character, guide your actions, and build the kind of presence that commands respect without a single word. Subscribe now and join this community of men and women who choose wisdom over noise, discipline over chaos, and integrity over empty promises. Share your journey in the comments, because your story might be the spark that inspires someone else to embrace their own silent strength. Together, we're not just talking about strength, we're living it. And as you move forward, remember this. Let your presence speak louder than your words, because true power doesn't shout. It endures in silence.